This is John from the University Skills Academy, and today we're going to talk about goal setting.
How do we set goals? Well, we're smart about setting goals. And SMART stands for specific, measurable, actionable or achievable, realistic and time-bound. That's what a SMART goal is. And none of this works unless you write it down. If you don't write it down, it never works. It never happened. Okay, so as an example for a goal, say I want to do some running. Right? I've got a goal of wanting to run. Well, it's not actually a goal because it's not specific, it's not measurable, it might be actionable, we don't know if it's realistic, and it's certainly not time-bound. So, say I want to run a marathon. Well, out of this, yes, this is specific, but it's none of the other things. So, say I want to run a marathon tomorrow. Well, it is certainly time-bound, but given that I'm only running 15 to 20k a week, it's not realistic. I might manage to get to 10k and then I've still got 32k in front of me, so it won't happen. What's my action? Turn up on race day? Hold a tick. Time bound. Now plus 6 months. That may or may not be doable, but at least it conforms to the pattern. It's realistic that way. It's time bound. But if the only action is to turn up on race day, and between now and then for the next 6 months I think, well, I'm going to run a marathon and that's the only thing I contribute towards achieving that, then it won't work, will it? What if I make a plan that I'm going to stretch 3 times a day to stop myself from getting injured, and then 6 weeks before the race I'm going to run a 30k session, 10 weeks before the race I'm going to do 20k's, 15 weeks before the race I'm going to do another 20k's, and between now and that 20k run I'm going to try and build up to 15k standard running distance 3 to 4 times a week over the next 3 months. This now becomes realistic, doesn't it? So it's a doable plan if I'm already running 5Ks several times a week. And it ticks all of those boxes. And it's a smart plan that it is specific, it's measurable. If I keep a running diary, I've got an action from the screen before, it's realistic, it's within the limits of what I can achieve, and it's time bound because there's a race in 6 months. Now this doesn't guarantee success, but I'm putting a lot of things in place to assist the likelihood of success going ahead. So how does this apply to uni? Well, we all want to get good results. You figure out what results you want to get per subject, and if it's a really hard subject, say you've got to pick up the book with 2 hands and you need to know all of it, maybe a high distinction on that, if it's a brand new subject to you, is not realistic. Maybe it is. That's for you to decide. But unless you are a really exceptional student, straight high distinctions or straight A's in different systems may not be realistic. But if it is, absolutely put it down. So write down your desired, your planned results for each subject for each semester. Make it visible, right? Put it on the back of the bedroom door somewhere so you know this is why you're doing what you're doing. And figure out your weakest subject and put the most amount of work into that weak subject. Don't just study hard at the things you like, or the thing you like the least. Study hardest at the thing you like the least, because you'll be naturally inclined to do the least amount of work.
So, with respect to your goal setting needs to be SMART. That is, specific, measurable, actionable or achievable, realistic, time-bound, and you need to write it down and keep it visible so you can see your goals on a regular basis and keep to them. And it is critically important that you study in the areas of work the most that you like the least. I'll say it again, study in the areas of work the most, those areas that you like the least, those subjects you like the least, work in them the hardest, and that way you'll never have to do them more than once. In the next session, we're going to talk about how to take notes, but a particular way of taking notes that leads into your handwritten notes from a class becoming a condensed study guide and tool to memorize the work with, and an immediate summary sheet. So from the moment you start writing in a class, you can be establishing aids to memory and flashcards and the like just by altering the format and learning what we refer to as the Cornell note-taking system. This is John from the University Skills Academy, and I look forward to seeing you in the next session.